If everyone could please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please join me in bowing our heads. Father, we come before you to say thank you. Thank you for the privilege, the blessing, the honor it is to reside here in the city of Oceanside. We come together tonight as a diverse community, a community of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presence, and different futures, yet one common goal, and that is the betterment of this city. We come together tonight to seek your guidance, wisdom, and discernment during the deliberations that transpire this evening, and in doing so, we lift up Councilmember Feller, Councilmember Kern, Councilmember Sanchez, Deputy Mayor Lowry, and Mayor Weiss. May you grant them wisdom and guidance as they lead our city into a bright and prosperous future. We say all of these things in your precious name. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Now, we would have Jennifer Santiago, one of our police explorers, to do the pledge, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, are you also going to sing the national anthem?
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to invite Mel Vernon and his guests to come forward for a proclamation for National American Indian Heritage Month.
Thank you. Jerry. Jimmy. These are members of our tribe of the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians. We're the original peoples of the valley here. I was doing a little math on the way here, Peter, and I was thinking, San Luis Rey was here before the Oceanside. And if our village wasn't there in San Luis Rey, the mission probably wouldn't be there. So we'd like to reclaim part of our downtown, if you don't mind. No, I'm teasing. Thank you. Just like to thank everybody for being here and acknowledge Native American Month with us. A lot of times we don't get the opportunity to do this, and a lot of the cities around here don't have a lot of the Native people stepping up. I mean, it's just not local, but it is a celebration that should be done nationally and bring awareness that what we're doing today and being a part of the community and positive part of what we can do to share in this this time and this land and the situations we're dealt with here and today. And we, of course, we don't forget the past and who we are, and hopefully we all have a bright future together. And I'd like to pass the mic and so they can introduce themselves so I don't mess up their names.
I'm Pearl Porritt. I'm Roberta Estrada, and we are sisters of Clara Fassat Guy, and this is the first proclamation that she has missed. Daughters. No, we are sisters. We're daughters of Clara. We are sisters. Daughters and sisters.
Miyuyam, no Tong Diana Caudell, and no Ataf Luceño. I just said hello, everybody, in the Luceño language. My name is Diana Caudell, and I'm from the Luceño Nation, San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians.
I am Raynette Anguiano, and a resident of Oceanside. Love this city, and San Luis Rey member.
My name is Al Serta, and I reside in the county near Vista. So it's a pleasure to come this way all the time and see the old grounds. Thank you very much.
Well, with that, Mel, I'll present you with the proclamation. And thank you very much. And let's give them a round of applause, please.
Peter, we'd like to give you something also from this land. This is an abalone shell and some sage, and that's not an eagle feather, but you can smoke it if you like. And thank you for the proclamation. It's been an honor for us to be here so many years and receiving this in acknowledgement. And come to our powwow, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, hi.
Thank you. Whoops, whoops, whoops.
Got the stage, right?
And at this time, I'd like to invite Emerald from the Chamber to come down for our business spotlight.
On behalf of the Oceanside Chamber, I'd like to recognize Deborah Howard of LOL Life of Liberty as our Member of the Month for November. Deborah, a Georgia native, moved to Oceanside in 2000. She has a very diverse and impressive background that includes working as the Chief Deputy Coroner, crime scene investigator, and even a certified EMT1 for 8 years. Today, she is the CEO and founder of LOL, an adult day program located here in Oceanside that serves adults with developmental and behavioral disabilities. Due to its success in the area, LOL recently celebrated its 10-year anniversary last month. In addition to her work with LOL, Deborah is very active in other organizations here in Oceanside. In fact, she currently holds a dual membership with the NAACP here at the Chamber. We thank Deborah for her dedication and support to this community. And at this time, I'd like to call her up, as well as her staff, to say a few words about her organization.
Well, good afternoon to each and every one of you. And I am very surprised I was very surprised when I received the email from Emerald from the Chamber indicating that Mrs. Lawrence, the city manager, had recommended LOL to be the Chamber Member of the Month recognition, to be recognized by the Chamber. Why I'm surprised isn't because I feel LOL isn't worthy of the recognition. I'm surprised because most individuals in the community are just not aware of the type of work that we do, and they really don't see it as valuable work, let alone receiving, recognition for it. We provide support services to adults with disabilities, from cognitive, intellectual, and mental retardation, as well as behavior modification. Those of us who are fortunate enough to interact on a daily basis with these individuals realize the importance of providing quality services to each of them in a person-centered manner. Each individual in our program is uniquely different. Therefore, it's important that their care plan is created with a focus on that particular individual's need. Most of society only sees the disability in the individual. This is unfortunate because these individuals, these valued members of the community, are so much more than their disability. There isn't a day that goes by that I am not amazed at some of the things that they are capable of doing. There are moments when we cry with them. There are moments when we celebrate with them. There are moments when we suffer with them. They matter, and they are real individuals. LOL and its staff will continue to be the source of hope and peace for those whom have been entrusted to our care. With that being said, I am very appreciative and honored to have been recommended for this recognition. LOL and its staff will continue to work hard to make sure that we meet the goals of our participants. It would be remiss of me if I didn't recognize the team of individuals who are blessed with the task of providing direct support to these individuals on a daily basis. We are a very, very strong team and one goal in mind, and that is providing the highest level of care and service to the participants we serve. There are disagreements sometimes among us as staff members, but we never allow it to compromise the service that we provide and the care that we provide. The staff members you see here today, I hold to the highest of standards. They are absolutely the biggest contributing factor to the success of the participants enrolled in LOL. Without their hard work and dedication, LOL would not be the program that it is today. As the leader of this extraordinary team, I am happy to share this recognition with each of you. Thank you for remembering our goal, and that is to provide service and to make sure that we promote successful independence to each participant. Again, thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Thank you, the Chamber, for giving us this recognition. LOL and the staff members will continue to do a good job, and we will make sure that the community stays proud of us, and we will just continue to excel and to exceed and have a reputable program. Thank you so much for this recognition.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give the closed session report. The City Council met earlier this afternoon in closed session to discuss the following items. There was no meeting on item 1. Item 2, conference with real property negotiator. The property involved is Heritage Park, 220 Perry Road. Under negotiations are price and terms for the use of the property. Item 2B, conference with the real property negotiator involving the portion of Ivy Ranch Park, APN 158-59104. Under negotiations are price and terms for the use of the property. There's no action under the Brown Act under item 2A or 2B. Item 3, conference with legal counsel on anticipated litigation involving one case involving the initiation of litigation. And item 3A, Romanet 2, significant exposure to litigation in the matter of 2 cases. Again, there's no action to report under the Brown Act on item 3.
Consent calendar items 5 through 15. Item number 16 has been pulled from the public, and then we have 17 through 20.
Move approval of balance.
Vote.
1 second. Motion approved, 5-0. Item number 16 is approval of the plans and specifications for the El Corazon Aquatic Center project. We have 3 speakers on this item: Nick Ritchie, Joan Bachman, and Tony Davis.
Okay, good evening, council members, mayor. I urge you to not approve El Corazon Aquatic Center project. This project is a want, it's not a need. It would be fiscally irresponsible to approve it. In the San Diego Union Tribune article dated September 5th, 2017, which chronicled the decisions you made on that August 23rd meeting, the cost was stated to be $14 to $16 million as far as construction costs. Those have now risen to $20 million in the report that you were given. And of course, all the other ancillary costs have now brought it up to $22 million for a want, not a need. So once again, the pool construction alone has increased by $2 million and was brought up, I believe, by Councilmember Kern, or it could have been Feller, I forget exactly. But you were very adamant and concerned about the maintenance costs that were going to come out of the general fund each and every year. And of course, we all know that each year those maintenance costs will rise and rise and rise. It's just not acceptable. It's not fiscally responsible. Also, as the taxpayers pay off the Civic Center bonds next year, finally, after decades, they're paid off. We don't owe money anymore. As taxpayers, you're actually proposing that we indebt ourselves for a want and not a need. We're going to actually go out and do the bond thing again? That just does not make sense. So it's just not fiscally wise. Also, it is proposed to use fees from parks for a want, not a need. I invite you to come to Buccaneer Park and use the bathrooms. We have a need right there. We have a need in these bathrooms that are not funded. The one on Tyson, the one at the pier, also the police substation, all those go as orphans now. They're orphans. Now, I know you've already spent almost $1.5 million in creating this, but it's not fiscally responsible at this point in time. And lastly, Measure X. You are asking the vote on possibly of using Measure X proceeds when you haven't even created the Citizens Oversight Committee. That's item 21 today, and you haven't even decided yet. So I'm just encouraging you to at least delay this, because this just does not make sense. There's so many needs in this city that we have to actually indebt ourselves and to take money from parks and to take money from Measure X to then apply it to a want. It's fiscally irresponsible, and I don't believe the citizens would be getting what they need out of this, which is, once again, the needs of the city to be taken care of first. And let's see, also, I might have something else here, I don't know. Okay, well, should you approve this, also, I would like to encourage you, the credibility of the city will probably be perceived negatively because there's no oversight committee that exists right now. Thank you.
Joan Bachman. I'm here as president of Friends of El Corazon, and we are very supportive of the pool. We don't see it as anything frivolous. This is something that the city does need. El Corazon is our park, is our central park. We are more than happy to be on a long-term plan for that park, but we do want to move certain things forward. And we have brought up many times about the continuing funding for that and the funding plan for the longer term on the pool, and we do want to see that move forward. We also do want to see the construction move forward. El Corazon is already in use by many of our residents. The senior center is heavily used. We are running bird walks and other hikes on the Garrison Creek Trail. There are people on that trail every single day. And so people are trying to use our park as much as they can, as much as we can get open, and we're trying to facilitate that as Friends of El Corazon. So yes, we are very supportive. We do want to see the pool move forward. We think it'll be yet another part of the jewel of Oceanside here, and we do also want to make sure that we are looking at the longer term funding and that we keep that in front of us. Thank you.
Tony Davis? Is it Tony Davis? 423. Okay, perfect.
So I am a supporter of the pool. Probably recognize me again. We've been working on this pool project for, I was trying to figure out if it was 4 years or 5 years. I think more importantly is the date attached to the last time you built a pool, which was in the 50s. I think for a coastal community of our size, and for the benefit that you'll reap from a public pool of this size, this is kind of a no-brainer. I think that we've been through a lot here where we've approved things before this. We've spent some money already, I think somewhere in the vicinity of $500,000 already to get here at this point. And it's kind of my understanding that really what we're voting on today is to approve getting some bids on the pool and some specifications. So this isn't really about, I don't believe today, voting for the final budget of the pool, but really moving down the line. So we've come a long ways. I'd like to see this finish. I believe there's a lot of supporters. We've brought them out many, many times. And it's not easy to get people that are working out to meetings, and we understand, but you gotta get people out here. And I'm telling you, they're still there. And by the time this pool is built, the children that I was trying to get into that pool will be adults, but I don't care.
because they will continue to do Master Swim. They will continue to improve their bodies and their minds through sports. We build parks, we build rec for a reason, for the citizens of the city. Let's keep this going and stop kicking this can down the field. Let's get this project done. Thank you.
No further public on this item.
I have a quick question. The cost estimate for the pool also includes the community room for the senior center. Is that correct?
Mayor, council members, that is correct. Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Sanchez?
Thank you. I appreciate the comments that were made. I for one do feel that, and I've been pushing the idea and working with the community and staff regarding El Corazon Park to include the swimming pool. And you ask, is this a want or a need? And I do feel that it is a need. Parks and recreation are definite needs that a community has, and there are not enough outlets for us for our community of 180,000 people. The last swimming pool is where I learned to swim, which was built in the 50s, and it's gotten pretty old like me, and it is such a need for the health and safety of our community, be they the young or the seniors. It is also a generator for economic development. To have these kind of meets means more people coming in. It also means scholarships for our kids. It is a positive, and I think the longer we wait, the more the costs will go up. So actually, I was actually looking to see if there's any way we could expedite to cut down on costs. So I'm hoping that staff will consider that, if there's any way that we can expedite. But I, for one, do support this. I know Councilmember Feller supports this in a big way. He's actually had a lot of conversations with parents and teachers, and this is a really good, positive thing for our community. So I'm going to go ahead and move approval. Thank you.
Jack, you want to second it?
Second.
Councilmember Feller?
I just want to say there's hundreds and hundreds of people that think this is a need. It's not just, it's probably thousands considering the two pools that they've had to deal with for the last 30 years that I've been here this time. So I'm happy to see this underway. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, if you look at the agenda item tonight, it's not a decision on the pool. The pool decision has been made. We're moving forward. All we're doing tonight is approving the plans and specifications for the pool. So it's just an administrative process that we're down. The can's already been kicked down the road, and now we're just moving along. So for those of you that think that decision is going to go backwards, it's not. The council's already made the decision to build the pool. I had my concerns, but the idea of the will of the council is there. So I'm going to support this to approve these plans and specifications.
Deputy Mayor Lowry?
Thank you, Mayor. So when this came up the last time, when we discussed it, it was determined that it was going to be a couple $1 million a year to operate the pool. And the reason I did not support that commitment was that we couldn't get buy-in from the general community, even though it's a great asset and there'll be people using it, et cetera. But we could not get buy-in from the school the schools want to use that for their competition space. They are happy for us to spend the money that the community has to make that happen. We are going to commit, we've already committed to moving this project forward at a very steady pace. And I think that people have to realize that it costs a lot of money to maintain this operation. The one in Carlsbad, they said it was like $900,000 a year, but I spoke with the mayor of Carlsbad and asked him how much it was, and he said a couple $1 million, maybe more than that a year, and we have the same model that's going in here. So it's great. We're not going to have to go into I guess this is going to be one of the things Measure X funds, because the people who are using it are not going to pay for it. They've never agreed to paying anything for it. So I'm happy that we're voting on this tonight, and I will approve the logistics of this item number 16.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0. Would you like item number 21?
21.
Yes, item number 21 is introduction of an ordinance establishing the Measure X Citizens Oversight Committee and approval of the committee's application form, bylaws, and responsible spending pledge.
Deanna, I have a question before you start.
Yes.
So one of the speakers this evening said we don't even have this on the agenda until tonight to create the Citizens Oversight Committee, but until the votes were counted on the item, we couldn't commit the council to approve something that we can't approve because we have nowhere to go with it. So we're doing that tonight. This is the earliest possible date post-election that we can do it, and since the public approved Measure X, you're going to tell us how we will go ahead and set up Citizen Oversight Committee. But the gentleman brought up his perceived fact that we don't even have that yet is the way it goes. The election was just done a few weeks ago, and we are now moving ahead with this next step. So I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Sorry to interrupt you. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Mayor and Honorable Council Members, Deanna Larson, Assistant City Manager. So this item is regarding the Measure X Citizens Oversight Committee. And by way of overview, the item includes an ordinance establishing the Citizens Oversight Committee, the Citizens Oversight Committee bylaws, application form, and a responsible spending pledge. Measure X was on the ballot for November 6th, and as of Monday, it was approved by 55.2% of the voters. Those election results should be certified next week, and we will know the final count at that point. It does enact a 0.5% increase in the local sales tax rate to 8.25%. It will go into effect on April 1st, 2019, and will be in place for 7 years through March 31st, 2026. And the ordinance establishing Measure X that the voters approved requires that the City Council create a Citizens Oversight Committee by ordinance. The role of the Citizens Oversight Committee is to review and comment on the Measure X finance report, annual spending plan, annual audit, and annual compliance report, as well as to work with city staff to identify and apply best practices for tracking and reporting of Measure X revenues. The Citizens Oversight Committee ordinance is recommending that the Oversight Committee be established as an advisory committee subject to the Brown Act. All meetings would need to be noticed, minutes kept, etc. All members must be city residents. Current city employees and elected appointed officials are not eligible to serve on the Citizens Oversight Committee. It will be a 7-member committee appointed by the mayor with the concurrence of the City Council for 4-year terms. Staff's recommending that there be 7 members in the following categories in order to provide diverse representation of the City of Oceanside. That would be 1 member recommended by the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce or active in Oceanside's business community, 1 member recommended by the San Diego County Taxpayers Association, 2 members recommended by the City of Oceanside's Public Safety Associations, 2 members who are qualified professionals in accounting, finance, engineering, construction, or municipal government, and 1 member who's active in the community at large. The bylaws and application form are also included in the packet. The bylaws specify the operating rules and procedures for the Citizens Oversight Committee. The application form provides for sufficient information to determine the candidate qualifications. With the application process managed by the City Clerk's office, similar to our current boards and commissions application process, the one difference is there is a provision that the applications go to the City Manager for a determination of whether the applicants are highly qualified, or not qualified in accordance with the eligibility requirements. Also included in the packet is a responsible spending pledge. This declares the City Council intent that Measure X revenues would be used to improve infrastructure and maintain and improve the delivery of public safety services consistent with the ballot question that was approved by the voters. It lists the programs and projects that would be eligible for funding with Measure X as was previously presented to the City Council on June 6, 2018. It helps to provide guidance to manage expectations, and it should be noted that the list of potential projects far exceeds the anticipated funding. And our tentative schedule would be, should council approve the ordinance first reading tonight, the application period would open immediately once we can get the application posted to the website, closing on January 9th of 2019. With the mayor then presenting recommended candidates to the City Council at the meeting on February 6, 2019, with the initial Citizens Oversight Committee happening on February 28th of 2019. The agenda for that item would include the Brown Act training, as well as an orientation to the City of Oceanside's budget and Measure X provisions. A second meeting on March 21st, 2019 to review the draft Measure X spending plan and make a recommendation to City Council. And then the City Council Budget Workshop is scheduled for April 17th, 2019. At that time, the City Council would review the Measure X spending plan. And with that, we recommend that the City Council introduce the ordinance establishing the Measure X Citizens Oversight Committee and approve the application form, bylaws, and a responsible spending pledge. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
We have one speaker on this item. Jimmy Knott.
Mayor, council members, Jimmy Knott, 127 Sherry Lane. First off, we probably might want to consider with the Citizen Oversight Committee, referred to as a COC, changing our City Operations Center from COC to something else, because there may be some confusion there. So I just want to bring that up. I wanted to also bring forward, there's been a lot of talk among council members and the mayor. In fact, the mayor last night gave a presentation, South O merchants and community down there, and saying that he would like to see future revenues from this tax to be set forward for projects in advance for the beach restrooms, beach nourishment, replenishment, the Aquatic Center, street maintenance, homeless outreach team. And this is anticipating before any cent has been collected. I would encourage every one of you, even though you'd like to see nice polished apples out there, the apples have not been growing on the tree yet. So let's take and look at what potential revenues before we take and go ahead and say, this is what we want to do. This is things that we have out there. And we have projection of revenues. Let's take a step back first. Let's look and see what you can take and get the projects together. There's also some realistic situations that are out there that we all know about, like with PERS. This is one thing that was promised to the public. Not one dime will be going to PERS. We have to have that take in, and that's one thing that was sanctified to the public in this measure that was passed. And whoever gets on to this committee, it should be part of the pledge that not one dime goes to public employees' retirement. That was one of the things that this measure was passed under. So I would caution you, all of you, from making any commitment at this time till this board is taken past and set forward and they take their pledge. And I would say that if you have something like that, submit it right now to the city or in some near future to the city manager. And let the city manager make a list for that committee. Thank you.
One second. Mr. Gleesberg, did you want to speak on this item? I know you talked to me earlier. Did you want to speak on this item or no?
Again, but I don't need to.
Okay, no problem.
For the council to make their decisions,
Okay.
and then at that point, I'll entertain
Okay.
an application.
Got it.
Councilmember
Thank you so
Sanchez?
much.
Thank you. This is pretty aggressive in terms of the timeline, I think, because it hasn't been certified, but certainly X has won throughout by significant numbers. I want to, first of all, thank the community for giving us the trust in approving this half-cent sales tax for 7 years, $11.2 million a year. This was certainly something that was presented in terms of infrastructure improvements, public safety. I feel confident and optimistic that we can truly meet those requirements that the community is expecting. So I'm going to go ahead and move approval. Thank you.
Member Feller?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Hold on, John needs to introduce the ordinance.
So this is the introduction of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside adding Chapter 2, Article 16, Section 2.91 through 2.93 to the Oceanside City Code to establish the Measure X Citizens Oversight Committee.
Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Can we go to 27, please?
Item 27 is the adoption of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending the zoning designation for certain real property located at 4398 Rainier Way, APNs 15803, 40, 41, and 42, from medium-density residential RMB to medium-density residential RMC, Riverview Springs Edition.
No public.
Move adoption.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion approved, 3-2. Sanchez, Lowry, no.
We have anyone 25, 26? I'm sorry.
Yes, we have speakers on item 26. As for off-agenda speakers, our first two speakers are Nick Ritchie, followed by Terry Miller.
How many are there? Zach, how many?
6 total.
Good evening, council members, and also mayor. Once again, my name is Nick Ritchie. I live at 133 Sherry Lane. And I understand that Brother Benno's is going to be up for a CUP review. And I have to share with you my experience real quickly today. I've been, in the last 3 years, gathering information, interacting with lots of individuals within our city about this very issue. And the thing that struck me was I got the $50 tour at Brother Benno's today. I mean, I was there for hours. It was great. I've been involved in other nonprofits. I get everything. I also understand how the states change with Prop 47, Prop 57, AB 109, and now we got Boise versus Martin versus Boise. I understand all that. But yet I go there and I listen and I see the positive. There are positive things happening there. There's no doubt. But yet then I go across the street and talk to the business owners, and I hear these horrific stories, just as the ones that were once again played out in the article in the Reader newspaper in October, the ones that are just played out today, the November 23rd issue of Coast News. And this one business owner, it was sad. I couldn't help her. She goes, I've let all my employees go. No one comes down here. There's nothing that I can do, and I'll probably be closing up pretty soon. Now that's pretty sad. So I understand that once again, Brother Benno's is here, and I appreciate what they're doing in many positive ways, but yet there has to be some sort of balance with the 180,000 people we've got here and the negative impact. We had Officer Payford, 2015, assaulted on the beach. We had 2 seniors murdered in the last 18 months at the hands of transients. A 60-year-old woman assaulted in her own home. Okay, once again, those kinds of things are happening. So it's gotten, it's just not the same it was 5 years ago. Things have gotten harsher. So I'm just encouraging you to, once again, as you interact and you listen, to hold Brother Benno's more accountable to the individuals. I mean, I don't know, maybe individuals, working with the police department as they do already with the HOT team. But when I hear, a member of the business community saying, the police come and drop people off from downtown right in front of my business. And then they get all combative and they won't come. I was at Coffee with a Cop today. I love law enforcement. I have family in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement. I get all that. But I've got these two different responses. One, really positive things happening, and number two, I got business owners down there go, they don't come now. They let them fight. They just allow them to do anything out there. So where, once again, is the reality of that? And of course, that's what you have to make a decision about. And once again, I'm glad I'm not in your shoes. But I just had to kind of share that because it was an interesting experience. Thanks a lot, guys.
Terry Miller.
Hi, Terry from Oceanside. It's my understanding that you want to end the Country Club Senior Center lunch program. This center opened in April of 1980. Lunch has been available for about 30 years. It is not free. There is a charge. It's not like going swimming and not paying. The City Council quit supporting the center with any effort about 3 years ago. Pictures of longtime volunteers were removed. Kitchen staff was lowered to a bare minimum. Retired veterans, retired teachers, and many others eat here daily. Senior and other volunteers help, including special needs adults who help out. So other than a few paid workers, everybody else are volunteers. I pay property taxes, as well as many of those eating there. A portion of that money goes back to Oceanside. The City Council, many of the members are seniors, expect respect. In return, this City Council needs to respect, honor, and treat those seniors, volunteers, special needs persons, and all people using this lunch program with respect and dignity. The kitchen staff is hardworking and selfless. Their need for a working oven now exceeds 6 weeks. Now you have even more money with the passage of Proposition X. So you've wasted a lot of money in Oceanside. The Country Club Senior Center lunch program is not one of those programs you've wasted money on. Many people eat there. Many people need that location, and that's their main meal of the day. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor, could staff respond to, could staff correct the impression that's been made about the senior nutrition program?
I'd be happy to. Honorable Mayor, council members, we are not letting the senior nutrition program fail. As the council knows, this is a nonprofit that provides a service to town. We are providing stopgap funding to help them through their financial difficulties. We're working with the county because a lot of their funding actually comes directly from the county. It is not a pay program. People can voluntarily donate money, but most of them do eat for free. They are not paying for their lunches. It's a very, very important program that we facilitate providing to our seniors, and we intend to ensure that that service continues, be it with the current provider or perhaps even a new provider. We are working with them directly to do what we can to keep them afloat. If they choose not to continue, we'll find another provider, but our goal is to ensure that the seniors have the meal program.
Not one meal will be impacted.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michelle Keeler.
Good evening, Michelle Keeler, 734 Wilshire Road. On behalf of my family farm, Milano and Company, who farms flowers in South Morrow Hills, I would like to thank the city and the citizens of Oceanside for defeating Measure Y and taking this important step to protect commercial farmers and protect commercial farming here in Oceanside. We are very proud of our family farm, we're very proud of our employees, and we are very proud of the agricultural products that we grow here in Oceanside. I would like to thank you all for all you do on behalf of everyone here in Oceanside, but tonight I would especially like to thank you and all of Oceanside for taking this step on behalf of the hardworking commercial farmers in South Morrow Hills, such as ourselves. Finally, for those of you leaving this forum, I sincerely want to thank you for your dedication. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kenneth Quinn.
I might have a thing to your thing. To whom it may or may not concern, the situation is getting worse. 2 or 3 new faces a day for the last 2 weeks asking for dope. Don't do it. Get away from me and don't ever talk to me again. Don't know where they're coming from or who. Most likely the police are just shoving around the situation instead of finding a solution to a situation. Was just made fun of by the officers of your hot team. Your police department thinks that I'm a joke. Well, honestly, no offense to the police department, I think you're a joke. It seems to be that there is no real crime, like in a major city. The laws of the city are geared towards the homeless. On the flip side, the homeless need to respect the neighborhoods in which they reside. Pardon my language, but a dog doesn't shit where it eats. 5% of us want a chance. The other 95% want to be mental and bark at the moon. Because from what I have seen, if brains were cotton, 95% of these people wouldn't have enough brains to make a tampon for a gnat. As well, I feel that the prominent and the members of this council like to blow a lot of hot air up each other's butt. Without action are useless and dead because one is a Republican and the other is a Democrat. And the rest is supported by prominent people of this town to achieve a rich man's agenda. The situation is getting worse and something needs to be accomplished. Instead of bickering and tossing around the words and ideas that waste people's time, put your educated heads together and find a solution to a situation instead of a cure to a problem. I am not a disease that needs a cure. I am a situation that needs a solution. Now, I will thank you for your time and go get harassed by the police for trying to find some food out of your garbage can. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ken Layton.
This is Ken Layton, St. Helene Court, speaking only for myself. I happened to attend the last meeting of the Citizens Investment Oversight Committee right here in the chambers a few weeks ago, where they discussed complex things like derivatives and brokered certificates of deposit. I had no clue what they were talking about, but I was able to get one key fact straight. Oceanside's year-to-date earnings that day from its investment portfolio was over $1.4 million. I think that's crucial as Oceanside faces upcoming red ink due to overwhelming unfunded pension obligations coming soon. So guess who wasn't there, and guess who has never been to one of these meetings? And guess who will be overseeing the city's $350 million investment portfolio come January? Victor Roy, also known as Victor Roy Nash. This man of mystery has said at public forums that he should become treasurer because his family has done a lot of investing. Just as Oceanside seems to be pulling itself ahead and shed its rough and tumble image, we now have to take like 20 steps back by electing this gadfly with no credentials, no history, and no clue about finances. For the love of God, could you please see to it that we never have a Victor Roy again? Please do what Carlsbad did and establish minimum requirements to even be considered as treasurer. Carlsbad requires a degree in a related field and 4 years experience. Whether it would be harder or easier than that, please do something to vet future treasurer candidates. I prefer that you would do what most cities do and appoint someone like Dr. Trickey. Failing that, at least establish a higher bar other than being 18 years old. We are passing the baton from a competent, conscientious trustee to a gadfly who got to put up a bunch of signs. Really. You would be surprised how many people know about this Victor Roy affair. The ball is now in your court. Please do something about it. This is not to disparage Mr. Roy. He simply saw an opening, and he successfully worked the system. In 8 years, our portfolio ballooned from $150 million to $350 million. Can you honestly tell me you want Victor Roy to make sure your pension fund has a chance to be funded going forward? Thank you.
Our next speaker is, I believe, Rosemary. I apologize. Thank you. There you go. Sorry. Last one. That's it.
Not sure. Good evening. My name is Rosemary Marusek. This is my first time at a council meeting and speaking at one. I am a neighbor of Victor Roy at Rancho San Luis Rey Mobile Home Park. I am outraged and totally amazed when I heard that Victor Roy was allowed to become treasurer for the city of Oceanside. We know all about Victor Roy, meaning we actually don't know anything about him. He often refuses to answer direct questions. He has officially used various names in public and in signed documents. When he ran for treasurer, many people tried to find out who he really is. Background searches showed nothing at all. He offers no information history as far as employment, education, no college transcripts stating that he graduated with his geography degree, and that is questionable. When asked when he did graduate, he first stated in the 70s. Then when pressured, 1970. He also has no certifications or education related to finance, yet he states he is a valued investor. He states only that he was with an aviation industry. No hard copies of any type have been offered to show or shown to back up his words. When he ran for city council, two of his opponents pointed out that in 2012, he collected signatures for a city petition when he was not even registered to vote. This is against the law. According to Registrar's Office, he did not register to vote until December of 2015. When asked about his voting status, he said in 2017 he declined to answer. Who is Victor Roy or Victor Roy Nash? I am in awe that the City Council did not vet him and ask for any type of proof for eligibility to serve as our treasurer. Now you want to turn over $340 million to his care when you know nothing about this man. Giving him the oversight of this money must be a joke. I cannot believe that the City of Oceanside and the council members would allow such an action. He has stated more than once that if he won, he would take a course in finance, even to the point where he would have the city pay for it. He is not the person he displays at all. No knowledge of finance. Can he prove with documents regarding any of what he states regarding finance in any or all areas? This reminds me of the Beverly Hillbillies, really. Can't recall an episode where Jethro got to run as treasurer of the Beverly Hillbillies Bank. His neighbors have complained often, and in 2007, they put together a petition to have him evicted due to what you see here. They have asked him many times to clean up. He refuses. This is what you want for treasurer? He can't even take care of his own area. If he is such a valued investor, why does he have to go to the clubhouse for internet, drive a 1970 wore-out car? I strongly urge you to do your due diligence and thoroughly investigate him prior to swearing him in. You owe this to the people of Oceanside. As a citizen of Oceanside, I find this situation so far out there. It is ridiculous, embarrassing, and absurd.
Thank you.
I've got a quick question. I have a question, ma'am.
Yes?
So what what is this in the pictures? Is that a homeless outpost there with all the junk?
This is his driveway, this right here.
Oh,
That's on top of a second car.
oh,
The other is supposedly his backyard. I have a bunch more, but I only brought the 2 for time.
so this is what you would see just walking past the property?
That's the driveway.
Okay. Thank you.
And there's many more that are similar.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we will take a brief break until 6 o'clock when we reconvene for our public hearings.